Hi, my name is Phil Skemmer. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences at Washington University in St. Louis. I am the PI of the Rock Deformation Lab, which is part of a larger group that we call Experimental Studies of Planetary Materials, or ESPM. The ESPM group is comprised of two PIs, myself and Mike Krasinski, who's an experimental geochemist. Hélène Couvy is a research scientist who works for us in sort of an engineering capacity. We have a couple of graduate students and a handful of undergrads doing research in our lab as well. So the main focus of the research that we do in this group is studying the mechanical properties or the rheological properties of rocks at high temperature and pressure. We do this experimentally, and the reason we do this experimentally is the rocks that we are interested in are largely inaccessible to direct observation. So to study the mantle, what we need to do is simulate three things. We need to simulate the pressure and the temperature in the interior of the Earth, and we also need to simulate the, or reproduce the ability of the Earth to deform or to change shape. So the way we do this is experimentally. We use an experimental approach. We take large rock deformation apparatus that typically involves using hydraulics to generate pressure, large resistant heaters to generate high temperatures, and some sort of motor or actuator to deform the rock. So this is a Griggs apparatus. These are apparatus that were designed by Professor David Griggs, who's considered to be the godfather of rock mechanics. He was a professor at UCLA in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. He designed a number of different apparatus, but this is his so-called Griggs type apparatus. He built 11 of them. We have number 3. We're very proud of that, low serial number. The Griggs apparatus is designed to deform rocks at pressures of up to 1 gigapascal and at temperatures of up to about 1200, 1250 C. So that allows us to reproduce the conditions in the lithosphere and in the shallow parts of the crust. So this is the LVT, that stands for Large Volume Torsion Apparatus. This is an apparatus of my own design. I've been working on it for the last several years. The basic idea here, where this distinguishes itself from the Griggs apparatus, is that rather than deforming things triaxially, which is how most rock deformation experiments work, this apparatus deforms things in torsion. So by torsion, I mean twisting. So we push from above and we twist from below. And in theory, this allows us to generate much, much larger strains than could be achieved in a Griggs type apparatus. And really large strains are important for a variety of reasons. Most notably, a lot of the microphysics of deformation doesn't really turn on, doesn't really kick in until you reach perhaps 100% strain or 1,000% strain or 10,000% strain. And so this sort of apparatus is going to allow us to study a variety of phenomena related to the strain evolution of the mechanical properties of rocks. So one of our recent projects is a study that investigates the effect of deformation history on the evolution of olivine crystallographic preferred orientation. Yuval Bonet, who's a graduate student working with me, has just completed a series of experiments where he looked at the effect of deformation history on the evolution of CPO. By looking at the difference in the evolution of the CPO based on the initial orientation of the rock, we can learn something about how different deformation histories influence subsequent CPO evolution and therefore influence the way that one might interpret seismic anisotropy. We have a number of projects right now, then we are looking for some new graduate students to join our group. If you're interested in rock mechanics or structural geology, geodynamics, and if you like working with your hands, this is a great group to join. You can contact me at my email address.